Hi everyone, just wanted to check in. I just finished grading all of your design thinking flyers, websites. You came up with some really creative visual formats for that. So I wanted to provide you with some general feedback as a class. I did provide you with individual feedback, so I hope that you not only look at your grade, but also look at all the comments that I made about your assignment. So in general, most of you did a great job with this. I think that those of you who first talked about what design thinking is before jumping into the steps and the phases of the process probably kind of set the stage better for their audience, because you need to, be mindful when you're creating documents that you're giving out at some kind of professional development event that not everyone has the same background knowledge that you have. So providing some just basics of what design thinking is really critical. I loved how many of you outlined the different steps, especially those of you who used questions or some additional language really to help your audience understand what each step entails, what that process all looks like. A few of you also talked about the different hats that design thinkers utilize. I think that can add some additional value to it. And then finally, it's really important to not only say what is it, but why would you engage in this process? So whenever you're putting your leader hat on, you need to think about a couple of different things. A, can I clearly communicate the vision for whatever this activity is? In this case, it's trying to get folks to understand what design thinking is. And then B, would they be interested in doing it? So it's not just about knowing what it is, but also getting them excited and engaged in whatever the task might be. And in this case, again, it is really hopefully engaging them in becoming design thinkers. So I would just like to just kind of remind you once again, most of you use the leader lens, but a few of you kind of went back to that instructional lens again. So you need to leave the current lens that you're working through as an educator to the side and start to look at it on a more large scale level, so that you're viewing the innovation more district-wide, school-wide versus classroom-specific. So if you're feeling like you're not completely sure about the design thinking, I certainly encourage you to go back and review the chapter, because you are now going to be embarking on a series of modules that really engage you in this process and are aligned to your final product. So it's really critical that you understand the process. If you didn't get a chance to watch that 90-minute video, and I shouldn't even say watch because it's really engage while you're watching that 90-minute video, I encourage you to do so. Again, the best way to do that is with a partner. It's not like one of those TED Talks where you sit back and take some notes. It's much more, you have to kind of do it to experience it. And the example that they give of gift giving is a pretty easy one for all of us to relate to. So you can find someone that's not even in the class to do that activity with if you haven't done so already. So if you just watched it independently, I would definitely encourage you to go back and get a family member, a friend, even ideally a classmate. You can get someone else in this class to do that with you, to go through that process. I think you'll find that to be helpful. And then as we move through the steps together, you'll see how that comes to life, and you'll be designing an innovative leadership project. So you're going to have to determine what your area of focus is going to be. So I did add a discussion question for you. This is not graded, but it's really just for us to start to share some of the ideas that you're thinking about in terms of where you want to focus on for your design thinking project, your innovative leadership project. And I recognize that you're going to start off with a general area, but you can't know exactly what you're doing until you move through some of the processes. So this week we're doing the empathy interviews. Next week it's going to be data. This is all about really determining what is the problem. So you need to have kind of a problem area that you want to investigate. I gave you some examples in the discussion board. Those are by no stretch of the imagination comprehensive, so feel free to think about other areas. The best advice I can really give you at this point is to just go and talk to as many different educators, especially leaders, supervisors, curriculum specialists, assistant superintendents, to get their sense on what are some of the things that if you were starting your own school that you might be interested in doing. What are some of the areas that would need like significant overhaul? This is a time to kind of, think big. This is not something that you have to implement, but hopefully it'll provide you with a great process so that you'll be able to move forward with that when you do move into a leadership position if you're not already in one. So I encourage you, to look at the syllabus. The syllabus has, kind of the outline of what is expected for you in this project. So take a peek at that, so that you can start thinking about it. Start throwing your ideas into the discussion board. As I said before, they're still a work in progress. Nobody's going to hold you to it yet. But as you start to hear what other folks are thinking about, it might prompt your thinking. And then again, as I said before, as you engage in these activities the next couple of weeks, I think that'll help you kind of refine and get some clarity and focus as to what area you want to focus in on and zoom in on for this project. So I am going to schedule another live session, so stay tuned. I am trying to get a guest speaker to come in and also talk with us about some of the innovative ideas that he has. So I'll see, it may even be as soon as tomorrow or next week, and it'll be, if you can make it, you make it. If you can't, we'll do the recording. But I do think it's valuable to try to attend if you're able to. I will shoot for that 7 o'clock time, because that seems to be the time that most of you indicated would generally work well. So I'm tentatively looking at either tomorrow the 13th or next Thursday the 21st. As soon as I hear back, I will let you know if one of those dates work. In the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing some of your ideas on the topic discussion board, as well as also hearing about your empathy interviews. All right. Oh, and one other thing I just want to mention before I forget. Several of you didn't use in-text citations in the document, and a couple of you neglected to even put the full citation at the bottom. Whenever you're creating any kind of work product, you need to make sure that you're citing sources. So it doesn't matter whether it's a presentation, it's a flyer, it's a paper, whatever the output looks like, it doesn't matter. The key is you need to let your audience know where you got those ideas from. If you are using any quotes, of course, you need to also include the page number, more specific data about that. But quite honestly, I think it's very rare that you should be using quotes, because these products or these assignments are opportunities for you to show what you know and for your ideas to come through. And those ideas are going to be shaped and informed by reading, the books that we're reading and some other resources. And that's where you'll cite them, because they provided you with kind of the background knowledge and some information about it. But you really do need to make sure that you're avoiding plagiarism. Also look at your plagiarism check, so I have it set up so that you can see your safe assign, percentage count. Some of that is references, so obviously I take a look at that. That's not going to make or break anything. But moving forward, I'm going to be much more strict about that. So if you're using information and you aren't citing it along the way, that's going to significantly impact your grade. So I was a little softer this go around and trying to use it as a teachable moment. All right, I think that's it for now. All right, folks, take care. Bye-bye.